Is there three books, technical fiction or philosophical, that had an impact on you? Like, is there books that you kind of return to that you enjoy and that had, that you find profound in some way?
I would say like probably the thing I read is in one of Emerson's essays that I read at a, point in my life where I needed that type of thing. And I read Self-Reliance, and, he's got a ton of good essays, but I thought Self-Reliance was probably the most impactful to me. Um, I've read later in life like a handful of, existential authors, and they're all great. But at the time, a lot of it has to do with timing. And when I read Self-Reliance and it was about the individual, that was really good. And it was impactful. There's also a book called Jonathan Livingston Seagull by Richard Bach, I think. And it's kind of along the same lines. It's about this seagull who, wants to break conformity and learn to fly and do all these other great things. And so it's a very short read. So if people are interested in that, that's good. Uh, the book, which I was lucky enough to read before the movie ever even came out, which is just a pleasure of mine, was American Psycho. Just from a writing standpoint,
Yeah.
I found that the writing was awesome. Bret Easton Ellis is the author of that and several other books who have like intertwining characters. He's a New England prep school guy, and so a lot of like the stories and a lot of the visuals rang true for me. And anyone who can write 4 pages of prose on like a Huey Lewis album, I mean, kudos to you. And I also would say no one will do this, but I would at some point read as much of one of the big 3 religious texts as possible. It really gives you perspective. There's so many overlapping stories in religious texts, and then the way that they're written gives you a unique perspective on different people throughout the world. And if you're a Roman Catholic, maybe don't read the Bible, read one of the other texts, and that would be an interesting take. But
I'm embarrassed to say that, first of all, I've never read the Bible, which is embarrassing to say. It's like I read a bunch of stuff about the Bible, not the Bible itself. And the same, not equating them, but I haven't read Marx directly. I haven't read Mein Kampf by Hitler directly. And it feels like sometimes, because you think like it's better to read stuff about the books, but ultimately you want, because like the analysis will be better in the texts that followed it. But there's value to actually reading like the actual words. There's power in the words that there's a reason why like the Bible is one of the most impactful books ever. And it's in those words, and it's of value to return to those words.
The Communist Manifesto is truly frightening if you read it in like modern context.
It's worth reading.
Yeah.
It's worth reading.
Yeah,
And so is Mein Kampf. Not obviously, well, it's not obvious, but it is not very well written. But all the ideas that led to the evil that is Hitler are all in there, which is fascinating to think about, because probably some of the world leaders at the time should have probably read the books. He outlined everything he's going to do.